Welcome everybody to this good, exciting match of Rainbow Six Siege with Michigan Esports versus Bradley Esports. We should have a really interesting game today. Both teams are fairly good. The maps we've got lined up are Oregon, then we'll be going to Villa, and finally we'll end on Clubhouse if there is an overtime.
Interesting map pool so far we've got there. Nothing too out of the ordinary in terms of the usual maps, but hey, that'll be nice to see.
Yeah, it's a Nomad ban. Very interesting from Bradley Esports, trying to make sure that they can cut off as much roam clearing as possible. And Nomad's very important as a operator on a lot of these pushes. So we'll have to see how Michigan Esports responds to that as we go into the game.
Several changes to Nomad since we've last seen him play. However, even so, Nomad's utility is still extremely strong. That needs to be brought to the board. And also, it would be nice to be able to see this stuff, because I still can't see this stuff.
As we start out here, they're going to second floor, kids in bedroom. We kind of expect that as the first option here on Oregon.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
And here we go.
Yeah, center bud, I can't see anything.
I tried to hold on while we deal with some technical difficulties.
Bomb located by attackers.
I'm trying to stream to you, and it says it's streaming. This is very interesting.
Fascinating. Can't see anything. Great timing.
Let me try a different method.
5 seconds left.
Ah, there we go.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
So, fun times going on here as we deal with a little bit of technical difficulties. I have now forced my co-caster to watch my OBS feed instead of watching the game, because the game will not load. Now we see here as Bradley Esports start by climbing up tower, and we've got a rush right in from Nook here, looking to try and spot out any UMish players who may be walking around. They're taking from the west side here. You can see Lath is down in this basement trying to come up cooler right now, working his way to try and sneak up behind these Bradley Esports players. And he has now reached the top floor. We should see some interesting play here, as we do get some trying to sneak up. There's a gunfight here. Between Legion and
Attackers drop the diffuser.
Legion now knows there are two players on this west side, looking to try and get one. He does get one. And that is Sledge. Nook down as well for this player. Last player here for Bradley Esports, sitting in attic, able to get one. He does know a player was down here, but he expects him to rotate back to site to hold this on a 3v1. Alchemist, how have you gone on with getting video? Are you better now or not better?
Well, you see, All I've got here is a black screen. I
That
don't know
is
how to-
nice. So we
But hey,
will...
watch this 3 minutes delayed. No worries.
As we see, he was just looking for some kind of head of pre-firing at different corners, but not able to find a player as he peeks around that white stairs. Let us try a different stream.
Am I streaming? Because I never got a notification that you actually started streaming the first time. So I'm not sure.
Here we go. A little bit of quiet time as we
Attackers need to
work
locate and
through
defuse as
streaming.
many bombs as they can.
And back in here on basement as expected for the team. It will be interesting to see whether they decide to go for an extension here into dirt or not.
You try streaming your screen, maybe?
Let's try streaming the screen.
Laser gate in position.
10 seconds left before insertion.
There we go. I'm seeing something.
5
Okay.
seconds to go.
Nice.
And here we are. Let's jump on with
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
and they do decide to close up that last door for the extension. Let's jump on here with Blitz as they prep for a dirt push, which was quite telegraphed by where their drones were sitting. But we'll see how they decide to take it. They do have some players going in tower, though Umish is mostly poised on this dirt.
There's quite a few people that's bunching up there on dirt. They're looking to make a very specific play by the looks of things, and it looks like Gridlock seems to be moving up too, but they seem to be aware and
Attackers
droning
located a bomb.
their way through that top side on the first floor meeting just to clear out things. Looks like they're not really gonna find anyone. The roam seems to be completely displaced. Is that Armik on the roam? I can't really tell. No, it's Bay, as far as I can tell. Yeah, Armik is on the first floor. A very passive defense here, but Twisty will find that first kill and a second with the kite. Oh, but that is the blitz on Cyclone finding one. Pushing in. They do have vision on him though, but it seems to have.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
He seems to be pulling it back quite a bit. Flashing Twisty, gonna finish off that pick, but Faye's gonna find one more to piercing. Late finds that Cyclone kill, and now it's just down to Linus, but no, Faye's gonna find that too, closing out the round for Michigan Esports. And that is 1-all on the board.
A great return to site there from the Jaeger. Just able to pick up some kills where they weren't really expecting him to aggressively be in kitchen. In freezer, sorry, excuse me. We do have an Onyana pick here out of BU, which will be interesting to say the least. Gives them a little bit of extra information, as that's kind of the game they seem to be playing at the moment.
From being diffused by attackers.
With the current frag economy, Iana is kind of vital in terms of draft at this point. You've only got 4 operators total that have frags in the game at this time. So you either gotta run the Iana, or you're gonna have to run a Nook or Glass, and quite honestly, Iana is probably the best pick out of those 3. Now you already have your Sledge on the board, which, you know, already has great utility, and, you know, that probably take his frags off. Now, a lot of people are gonna cry. However, you know, alongside that, you do want a second set of frags usually, and we see that on Yana. Now, Yana did lose her Gone 6 in the last patch, but however, that still doesn't discount the amount of utility she brings to the board.
Now we do see this gridlock, and most of the BU teams starting out here on the south entrance at main, looking to try and pick off these cameras.
Let's get a top-down view, see what we're looking at here.
So they are trying to take this top floor, push off Lath here in the Wamai double entrance here, and we do have some players on balcony. Faded replying back with this rifle, but it doesn't look like he hears the Yana inside of Trophy. He will be droned out here by Linus Deb, and he will try to pick a different location, shutting down that Yana clone.
Linus trying to move in on the angle, but Shota instead trying to also contest late on the longer angle. Linus on the prone, but looks like late's keeping the angle. Faye finally finds a pick, finds two onto Linus, and that's a fuse dead. And now the Yana backs away as these engagements keep happening. Late is pressing the attack. Well, Shota is in a bit of a bad spot here, as she seems to be kind of boxed in to this spot in by Trophy and the bedroom. He decides to press late on the Wamai, not quite seems to be happening. And honestly, these early picks from Michigan Esports probably have thrown them in a bit of a tizzy.
Now we got Lath here trying to sneak up behind this Yana and finds a perfect spot where he just wasn't expecting him. Cyclone now down to 2 players versus a 5 as we see Thermite climb up these stairs. He's now
honestly, at this point, they just seem to be throwing bodies in this very specific point just to find these kills. At this point, you either want to repivot and try a different angle, or... And considering they have Diffuser on hand, they really should not be trying to contest this. There's Late finding one more to Cyclone. The triple kill for Late. Can he find this last 4th kill? He does not. Quan takes him out. But Faye is close. Will not find that kill either. Double kill for Quan as he moves up into the attic. But the attic is going to be reinforced, and he'll need to back away with no hard breach charge on hand. 30 seconds left on the clock. Diffuser on hand. 1 against 3. For the win.
A good rotate down here, but I don't think he knows about this player right here in the garage. Will he check it? He does check it. Does find the smoke, able to down him, but 10 seconds left on the clock with 2 other UMish players. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to get anything done. And
he won't find Goose in the kitchen, who takes his head right off.
A really good angle there. Just waiting for him to sweep that door. And that puts Michigan 3 rounds up. That does allow... Oh yeah,
I did miss the first round. Was that first round on the second floor?
Yes.
And hit the Dom's main hall. So I think they'll be moving back there. And yeah,
it's definitely their most advantageous position.
Locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Interesting lineup they've brought here. Swapping out for Maverick, which is probably the best move, but the lack of secondary hard breach, especially to put pressure on the bedroom, is probably going to be problematic unless they're going for something completely different here. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it is definitely interesting, though they know they are going for a push. We might see them actually try to come in from the attic rather than pushing that games room. It does put them in a bit of a pickle because rotating back to games or they might possibly add some players from the window just to add extra aggression onto the site. It does look like that as one of them spawns construction.
Yeah, taking a look at the top-down view here, it does feel like the attacks seem to be very straightforward, very linear so far. But, you know, let's see. 2 attackers going for the wall, but Quan's gonna find that first pick onto Faye, and looks like... Where's the Maverick?
The Maverick right now? That is a great question.
The Maverick's... Oh,
Maverick's droning.
Okay, but the Maverick is on the balcony, which means they're trying to get that games wall open instead of the basement wall, which I don't know if that's the play for Maverick, but interesting decisions here. It looks like the Maverick's hopping in to pressure White, and yeah, looks like pressuring the White stairs and Freeze's side, but otherwise droning and making sure to clean it out. Sorry, that's not Maverick, that's the Finka, Quan on the Finka, which that makes sense at that pressuring it.
Yeah, our Maverick still has not left spawn. He is now finally on the move, coming out of spawn to jump in tower and go straight for that attic as he's had all the rest of his players
that
cleared out.
makes sense. I just misunderstood who this was. Smoke's going out to deny the window, and let's still uncontested below Quan, that is. However,
Osa here looking to find somebody. Keep those smokes coming from Yumish. They now burn 2 smokes, which is quite detrimental to their position.
they managed to push off the Osa on by pushing off the shield, but the smoke's honestly fine. The burning time, that's what smoke is meant to do, is to keep you off your position and make you push you to make that final push in the last 15 seconds to force you to make mistakes. So that makes sense. Or Meek finding that pick onto Linus, and that's gonna be Osa taken out of the picture. Frag is gonna hit him quite hard though, and Quan's gonna finish off Twisty. Like Nook's also trying to make a play on the window. Goose finding Quan, and
Maverick is inside attic. Doesn't seem like the Yumish players noticed, and he's able to just lay down and get one.
yeah, let's take a look at Goose's point of view here. It looks like he's gonna be droned.
15 seconds left.
And it's just one player left, 13 seconds. So it looks like they may have to go for a kill, but he's stuck in the corner and not able to do anything as just bodies come at him.
Yeah, that deer mark can only do so much, especially when he's pressuring you like that. Yep.
Yeah, it was just a law of attrition at that point. Just Bradley had so many bodies, even if he was able to kill 4 of them, he would have run out of ammo in time to get the last.
Yeah, a good attempt there at the first round for Bradley. Yeah.
It looks like Yumish does not want to play second floor again. They go back to laundry and just keep on rotating through these positions.
Yeah, it looks like laundry. What am I saying? Bradley, not laundry, has seemed to have found a read on their second floor defense, and which is why it's a good idea to just keep it moving, keep the sites rotating instead of trying to stick to one side for too long. Usually the rule of thumb is you want to try it twice and then you move on. If it doesn't work out twice, you kind of move on, but it looks like Michigan's taking a bit of what's the word? A bit of
10 seconds left.
it's slipping me now, but they're taking they're being ahead of the curve here by just pushing into a different side. And it looks like they're setting up their elbow hold here on electrical.
We do see a Thatcher come in to help this Hibana. Interesting to see where they decide to push in from.
They're charging down through the garage and into the dining room. Very bold play here. The hatches are reinforced, and I think laundry is the same, but it looks like they're trying to deal with the extended roam, but there isn't any. Michigan team usually holds off on extended roams when it comes to the basement. Something that was interesting to notice was that Twisty's field placement was a bit further up than expected. And that's the first pick from Faye right onto Cyclone
Through those white stairs.
Yeah, the door peak. And
Ape.
once again finding the same pick.
Able
It
to
looks like
just-
they're probably going to try to get the hatch open. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, looks like they're going to try to get the hatch open and get vision into Freezer. Let's take a look from Faye's point of view here.
He does seem to be going through some cameras.
It looks like they're prepped for the Freezer push. They've kind of read that that's what's going to be the play. And Freezer and Laundry side looks like it.
We do see Faye here going up on this sledge.
Let's take a look at it through Piercing's point of view.
Looks like he's gonna try and cook this
Finding
grenade.
this big frag through. Not gonna find
Frag.
anything.
Missing Faye dead there, as he is slightly further to the left. These Yumish players all keeping good lines of sight against each other. And we do see the Finka go back up the stairs.
It's gonna find Linus, however, but Piercing finds Faye. Shota finds late, but Goose manages to pick Shota off, and it's just down to Piercing, down in this freezer side. He's gonna manage to take our Meek out, but he has 2 more to contend with. Twisty and Goose still on the field.
Surrogate has reactivated.
Twisty holding the pillars and Goose in the rotate. He has to make a decision now. Does he push through Laundry or does he go through the pillars? He's got Diffuser. He needs to make a decision.
He also only has 1 drone. Oh, and he does have a grenade.
Frag left. Pushing the pillars, but he's not going to be looking the right way for the engagement. He needs to swing Twisty on pillars here.
Oh,
Does
and
see it.
Seconds left.
Oh, catches. Nope, and Twisty finds that pick right onto Piercing to end the round for Michigan Esports.
that was a really good showing there from Piercing right at the end where he had to play that 1v4. Was quite tight corners, able to make at least some plays and get some kills. But UMich definitely showing their prowess here. As we do see mostly a similar
Attackers need to
player
locate and
lineup.
defuse as many bombs as they can.
Yeah, again, the issue that I mentioned earlier is that Bradley seems to be bunching up quite a bit, almost like the angles that seem to be setting up for don't really seem to be cutting off any rotates or others. Well, my point is they seem to be bunching up at a specific point and then all watching the same angle. Now, the drone game is, while good, they in the sense that they seem to be droning a lot, they don't seem to be acting a ton on that information either, or
10
not
seconds to
acting
go.
in a timely manner. That's something that would need to
5 seconds
change
remaining.
if they want to take further rounds.
For sure, the one round they did when
Attackers are heading
they
out to defuse a bomb.
absolutely added aggression from lots of different angles and just made UMich knock off their feet because they couldn't all watch different angles from different positions, and they were able to pick some of the UMich players off without even needing them to necessarily know they were there. We do see Nook coming in here in basement and in the garage immediately into kids' room, and we do see looks like Sledge
now-
here on the balcony.
Right there, Cyclone's droning ahead for Shota, but Shota's not following the drone, so can't really act in timely manner on information found. Now, Cyclone's gonna find someone down here in the dining room, correct? But Shota is not close enough behind to act on that information, and Late will find him instead as he rotates from CCTV.
Really good push there from Small Tower. We do have double window open now from the Flores. Interestingly, as you expect Flores over here to be by games where Sledge was. Although Sledge has also rotated around to try and get someone off these white stairs.
You would have them on games if you're looking to make a games push. It doesn't look like the games push is in Bradley's playbook right now. And definitely... I don't know. But the many times we've seen them play this, it doesn't look like they've tried. But now it looks like they tried to get the util from below using the frag and to get the thermite off. But this change... Yeah, like you said, Flores here would have been much, much better. There's a drone hole that they can easily pass through, and now it's going to be hard to get this wall open. He might try the thermite trick it using by placing it on the ground, but even that won't work on that hard surface over there. Can he do it there? He can do it there. Yeah, that's what I was wondering if he could. He's going to attempt that, but I don't think he'll get the opening that he so desires. He's going to zap the Renegade, but Late's going to find one more into Linus. Ormy almost gets taken down as he tries to cross over to Dorms. Oh, Piercing finds a nice pick onto Goose, but Twisty refrags almost immediately, and it's down to Cyclone to make this play. He has to contend against 4. He's hit quite a bit. He's at 50 HP, and that's the flag from Faded to take him out. That's Michigan taking the defense 5-1.
Yeah, it was good of him to know that he did have a flanker coming up those stairs, possibly from a little bit of Bradley esports knowledge from a camera, but just not in enough time to act on it again. They really seem to be droning well, but not having players there to back it up. They're losing a lot of drones, and the UMich players are able to just rotate out before they can make a stand or take advantage of the situation.
Attackers need to locate.
It's also
and defuse
good to know
bombs.
that while also that follow-up didn't happen, there was also a missed drone because they missed the CC late in CC completely, which didn't help the no-go there when it came to the refrag. So
That is for sure. We do see
got taken
here.
down early, and as a result,
Razor wire up.
you know, it just happens.
Yes.
There's not much you can do about that. But ideally, you want to set up cut-off drones before the round starts, and then once you've got that done, you want Nook to follow the drone there
10
rather
seconds
than
to go.
and follow it a lot closer than what they were doing at that time.
5 seconds.
Yeah,
For
I'm watching
sure.
it on the replay. Oh, well,
Attackers
okay,
must
so late
locate
wasn't
and
in
defuse the
CCTV, that was
bomb.
my bad, they were in that 90 corridor, but still, and that wasn't the fault of the drone, it's just that usually you want a set pathway for your drone, and once it gets, yeah, that wasn't the fault of the drone, it wasn't a missed drone, like I thought it was, but it definitely could have been dealt with much better. Oh, this is interesting. Linus is gonna be hiding in this office over here,
He
waiting
had
for that to happen.
he had previously opened that window looking for a spawn peak, so the UMich players know he's in there. They were able to tag him on his way out, which will not be beneficial for later on in this round. UMich now immediately acting on this game's wall.
Yep,
Getting a-
Games Wall is wide open, and yeah, now they're gonna slow down a bit because they've got what they needed. They've got control, and Faye will find that pick right onto Quan. Oh, but that's
Piercing.
another refrag. Piercing will find Faye.
Twisty now knows he's there as Piercing rotates back out of meeting, looking to try and get this refrag dropping into the basement where he can sneak away.
Yeah, Twisty's gotta fall off at this point. There's not much more he can do. But if he gets flanked on, which might be happening right now, let's switch to Piercing's point of view. If Piercing manages to get that flank on him, yeah, it looks like he might just be able to pull that off if Twisty's not careful.
Does look like he is falling back, not willing to take that risk. Even though we are 4v4, it is a fine time. Piercing now coming up the freezer as Iana's checking white. It's possible that we do have a bit of an interaction here as well, as UMich players push into master bedroom. Piercing coming up behind the Iana. Iana has no idea, able to take one out. Piercing, this roam game is just putting a huge damper on UMich's ability to attack here.
He has made his way up Armory Stairs. Shota will find Goose through the breach, and that is more problems as Piercing rotates down. There's the Claymore, but not quite in time. No, he looks away as... Let's go to Twisty's point of view. Oh, Twisty does find Shota, but I don't think he's still aware.
He does
doesn't
not know
matter.
Piercing is
in-
behind him.
He's in trophy, so it doesn't quite matter. And he does have a cutoff here. But as soon as he hears that this goes down, he might just know. Nope, not quite. Piercing
Didn't
finds
hear the-
one more. Late is
15
inside
seconds
planting.
remaining.
He gets the
Attackers are
plant
activating
down,
the diffuser.
and now he has to watch. He finishes off Cyclone, and now here comes the rotate. Oh, Late!
A strong
What
push.
a retake! That was a terrible position to be in for Michigan Esports, but he outplayed Bradley Esports here. That was looking like an ace for Piercing right there. I thought that was going to be a Piercing ace. Because it was a 4K, and he was poised to take Late down, but my oh my, did Late turn the tables right there. What a round.
Some strong plays from University of Michigan. Even knowing that one Bradley University player was down,
Defenders
and
protect
talking
the
to each
bombs
other,
being defused by attackers.
making sure that they knew what was going on and where the Bradley University players were in those last few seconds really made a difference in how they were able to push and just control the area they were in.
Just watching it on replay again, that was a million, like every way that could have gone wrong for Michigan, it went wrong. But the fact that he could just pull it back like that was absolutely incredible.
10
That's
seconds to insertion.
Late is just good at that in general. As we now move to Bradley's defense on basement. Looks like they're taking
Attackers need to locate and defuse the bomb.
the idea to move on with the sites rather than keep it on the second floor. Michigan is on match point for the map, so it's best not to risk it. Try something different.
Going for a drive.
Okay, on the Flores drone immediately. Take a top-down look at what's going on here. Alright, so it looks like Michigan's going all in on the electrical take. The shield seems to be... Is that a shield there? Yeah, it's just destroyed. So it's been abandoned. That position has been abandoned because Flores managed to get explosion off that. And it looks like they've reinforced the wall too.
Bomb located by attackers.
And now this allows Michigan some space to start taking control. There's Late with the hard breach charge going to be opening up the elbow side of electrical. And now Michigan has a rotate into sight. Shota will have to expend all the smokes there to get used to that. Twisty will find that pick onto Quan. Late taking heavy damage to Shota. Let's go to Late's point of view. As he tries to... Oh, there's the smokes. He's going to be pushed out of that position. Leave 2 more smokes on hand. Faye will find Cyclone. Early advantage for Michigan. However, the health pools overall remain somewhat the same. Late flaming off an area in the B-side. Faye will go down with the diffuser on hand, which will be problematic, but here comes the flank on the blue stairs, and that's Late finding Shota. And we have control of the blue stairs now. We'll be down to retake, but it might just be looking like a plant in the B side here. Who's watching the angles to the rotate as Late makes the plant on the default spot. He's piercing, will find Late though before he's able to finish off that plant.
Attackers recovered the bomb.
Goose able to grab the diffuser. Piercing has pushed off the door, and a great flank in here from Goose. Able to kill one of those players and just leave it down to Piercing in the freezer. He knows where they are. Piercing knows they're planting but doesn't know exactly where. Able to catch Goose as he's trying to clear out of the space.
Let's look at Piercing's point of view. As he pushes into the connector here, he's gonna have to swing on the pillars. He's aware that the player is somewhere close to pillars. Oh, that rotate quite. Oh, or Meek will find Piercing. It was siege timing at its finest there. He was looking that way the whole time. He crossed it, but then Ormik just peeked up as he was finishing that cross. There's not much more he can do there. What an attempt by Piercing, but just not quite enough to save the game. As we move on to map 2. 7-1 on the board. Looks like they want to take a 10-minute break.
Sounds good. We will also be taking a 10-minute break with them. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We do have one more game coming up. So, we will see you then.
there.
Welcome back, everybody. We got to listen to some beautiful barking to get my attention as we go into our second game. Reminder, this one's on Villa, with Bradley Esports attacking first. Should be exciting.
A classic map, to say the least. My personal favorite. But hey, I'm excited to see how this one goes. Put your bets in for the bans. Jackal on the board as always. What are you thinking for attack ban, Santa?
The Nomad was quite out of nowhere. Bradley might go for it again, and they end up banning Nook, which is very interesting as they were mostly the only ones that used that operator on Oregon. Though a very potent operator here on Villa, as there's so many different ways to move around the map. And
Villa is a massive map compared to Oregon, and as a result, Nook can be very, 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 very dangerous in a lot of senses, especially depending on where you enter from. Hell, you can enter in the basement and they'll never know you're inside the map. And yep, that's a Valk ban right off the bat. And I'm going to say either Mira or Khaid will be our final ban here.
And it is Mira.
It's Mira. Hey, what'd I tell you?
All about
But
denying
hey.
that information. Very important.
Mira's holes can be extremely potent, especially on Aviator games and Trophy Statuary, which are usually the first picks on the defensive sides on this map. But hey, moving on. Looking at the lineup, nothing quite too out of the ordinary here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
And yeah, a very basic lineup as of now. And just nothing more to say. First side, Aviator Games, and Goose is gonna be making those rotate punch holes to get those sight lines to look at the study door, which would be as expected.
Yeah, very standard setup here from Yumish, as Shota seems to be coming up these red stairs with his drone.
10 seconds left.
Looking for a good spot to hide it. That flower pot may work just fine, as
5
Lath
seconds left.
doesn't seem to notice as he runs by, chasing Pearson's drone.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, information's always the name of the game in Rainbow Six, and as a result, you want to get as many drones off the board as possible, but also while not ignoring your setup. Looks like we're looking at master side push here from Shota and Quan by the looks of things. And it looks like they're going to try and take early map control here, hopping straight in with no droning, but they're going to pre-fire at Trophy and going to look... Not going to look at Astro. Was there someone on Astro?
Deploy track stingers.
That is...
Lath is below.
That's Sledge, not Astro. Lath is below, correct, and it seems like they were hunting for him. Faye does take quite a bit of damage early round, but it doesn't seem like much more. Let's go for more point of view here. Now looking at Cyclone. Cyclone's still, again, last man into the map. He's not even in. He's still droning from the spawn, and that's Faye's gonna be Faye's first pick onto Quan. They're looking for a refrag here as they're looking into 90 Hall. Faye is going to contest this though. He's gonna hold. Looks like he's gonna play his life here, and no, it looks like he is gonna play his life here. He's not falling off of 90 angle. This is a crucial spot, and once it's taken, it does snowball quite easily from here. There comes the Ying Candelas, and not much. He's not gonna be able to do much more. Cyclones finally in the map is going to take him out, and here comes the hard breach. Yes, the hard breach charge from Cyclone to open up the angle into Vault. Goose is going to try and contest it. Twisty's going to find Cyclone though, from a bookcase's angle, I believe. Goose is also contesting the Vault opening or not. Oh, that was a bad rotate from Twisty as he gets taken off to the Vault hole.
I don't think Twisty knew that the Vault hole was open.
That's quite possible. Linus takes out Goose, and it looks like they're going to get ready to hop into Vault now.
Shoulda here
Or
with...
nope, they look no. I don't think they're aware that Late is here on the prowl. Here comes the shot. Oh, they did get a sound cue. Piercing's gonna find Late, and Armik's gonna be the last man standing, waiting here behind the bar. He's gonna find no. Linus is gonna find him instead, and a ballistic first round for Bradley Esports.
Strong
And-
double peek there.
Yeah, and a complete overhaul of what we were seeing in the last round.
And yeah, Bradley Esports just pushing in. It is kind of surprising how long it takes Cyclone to come in. I think he may be their IGL, which may be the reason he sits back just so he can watch the rest of his team go in, give good calls and some good ideas for them to attack, but it is quite a difficult job to be pushing in and calling plays. It does seem, though, that once Bradley makes a decision on how they want to attack, they push from that direction. I have yet to see them rotate to a different position to attack once they find opposition. They end up just pushing straight through.
Yeah. It just happens like that. Usually, you know, if you don't have early control of Master on your defensive side, we saw Late fall off very, very early, and as a result, they were able to take a lot of map control with little to no, contest, and as a result, you know, it kind of snowballed things quite fast. Now,
Bradley,
Veda did play his life on 90 angle, but there's only so much you can do when you're being bombarded by all those Candelas. Here comes the drones out again. Again, the issue of not following up on that drone, but also makes sense with what they're trying to do, I guess. They have full control of Master side once again, and they might just be able to walk in. But however, we do note that Late is playing Pulse downstairs. He might be able to get an early pick or two.
and it does look like he's been able to get away with it scot-free.
Let's take a look at
Cyclone,
what Late is seeing right now. It's going to be right over him with the Yana clone.
though he's
does
not
seem
even
to be
using
waiting.
his pulls. He's expecting one player to try and come in through this main floor, and I
that
don't
like
think he's going to
information?
find one.
No, but I do think what he was hearing was that repel. I think he will be understanding what's happening now, or not. Red Stairs is gonna be taken by Linus. Almost again, no contestation here. And yeah, Bradley's moving into a 90 take. Let's take a look at the Candelas and Cyclones and point of view. Yep.
Here we go.
There we go. And that's gonna be Twisty picking up Linus first, probably through the door, I believe. They're gonna be flashing and gonna be to take out all that utility. And yeah, looks like they did manage to get it off, and looks like they'll be pushing our 90 rotate once again. Late, what is Late doing?
Lath took a gunfight on top of Red Stairs, trying to at least push a little bit of pressure. They found him out, and he immediately ran towards a rotate to try and find a different position and fake them out.
Right, that makes sense. They are going to
Keep pushing this vault attack. Iana Clone able to get rid of that as a roomy gate, and we do see
that was a
strong push from Bradley. They're immediately going for the plant, just under these Yumish players' noses, able to take down Faded, and
a ballsy play, but they do manage to pull it off, so you can't say much about that. Quan's gonna take Goose out as Goose took one out, and looks like, Armik taking off Quan, even though Quan had the jump on him, and now Michigan needs to move in for the retake. Piercing, watching the angle all the way from the door. No, he's watching from the study angle. They're gonna contest him, but they're not gonna be able to convert. Piercing, with 3 kills, I believe, that round. Maybe more. It's gonna take it for Bradley Esports. 2-0 to Bradley.
That was an insane play from Bradley Esports to just run in. Their planter
They
had,
deserved it. The fact that they were able to pull that off.
for sure.
Goose could see the plant. He could have easily, if he fired a few more rounds, taken out the Ying who was planting. But what on
Attackers
earth
need to
was
locate
even
and
that?
defuse bombs.
The fact that they were even able to do that is terrible on Michigan's side. And hey, props to BU for being able to pull that off.
BU definitely showing that Villa is their more comfortable map. And proving that they have full trust in each other. The fact that Yang would just run in and trust that his teammates can allow him to make that plant is huge and something you don't often see in competitive play here.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Ultimately, I think what
10
happened,
seconds to go.
pardon me, where Michigan kind of missed
5
the
seconds
plot
left.
there was on Late's roam. The fact that he was
Attackers are heading out to defuse
So
the
deep
bomb.
and not able to find anything.
so deep and wasn't even showing himself was kind of missing the point on the roam. You want to make yourself known, you want to waste their time. But he was not wasting that time. The most he did was try and get a C4 off, which he missed, I think. And then, yeah. Just in general, Late needs to be playing a bit closer to the action, needs to draw the action away from the actual site, ideally.
It looks like he's trying to find something here. At least distract the player. Cyclone able to spot him out with a drone, but again, these BU players not able to find him. Iana Clone letting him know that everyone else is close enough to see him, and he's able to push off, taking a one-on-one gunfight with Shota, and Shota able to clean that up. Linus here now, closest to the action, sitting on red stairs here.
Yeah, I don't know if roaming with the Kaid was the best idea over there, and honestly, it seemed like they're a bit out of position. He did try to go in for the refrag for Faded, but unfortunately, just not quite enough there.
Call out here from the Doka. Kwanzaa seems to think that there is a player behind Stashu, not able to recognize with the new sound engine that the player is behind that shield,
Swapping mag.
just holding this angle, looking for someone. Twisty here, looking to make a play, holding the opposite side of this angle, as all these Baylor players and Umish players seem to just pause and wait. Twisty able to dodge that flashbang, but getting droned out. They do know he's there. He's going for another hard swing.
No follow-up again. Ormic is going to find one. Cyclone's going to refrag onto Ormic, and last man standing is going to be Twisty as he tries to find Quan here. He finds Quan across through the door, and he gets him to the wall. Pardon me, not through the door. As he comes to red pings, he's going to try and go for a swing. Swing and a miss, and unfortunately Linus will clean it up once again for Bradley Esports. 3-0 on the board, and Faded calls for a timeout.
How the frick do I do a timeout?
You can pause. So
If
escape,
I'm not in loading.
escape, pause.
Yes.
All right. So, Faded requesting a timeout as pardon me, as Late reconnects, and while that's happening, let's kind of go over what was going wrong there. First of all, Faded and Late just getting caught with their pants down deep in AV was kind of not desirable, to say the least. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it definitely is quite the issue. Looks like we may be going for a rehost. As we sit here and wait.
No, I think you can keep the timer paused.
I can. So
Here.
we may just sit here and wait for this player to come back in. It definitely
This
having
might be a rehost, but I think it should be fine.
having
Like pausing usually counts as a rehost.
Yeah.
Rules. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. I keep cutting you off.
Yeah. No worries. Having those players be on site but not make any presence known, as BU was just able to push straight through a single door into Trophy there. And
It's
able
also
to...
well noted that I'm watching on the replay on the stream now. They were actually using the following the drone a lot better this time in this map. They actually seem to be using that quite well, which is how they caught late with his pants down on Bookcase side. So, props to them, and that is definitely a good change right there.
For
And
sure,
it also
for sure.
does seem that Korn did realize that Twisty was behind the shield. He just thought there was another player behind. He expected another behind the statue, which makes sense, all things considered.
Yeah, it was a little interesting as they made that call, though.
Yes, they're ready.
And we are ready. So here we go. Sounds good. Now we do see an Alibi Goyo Jaeger here. Going back to Aviator games, the Alibi may be very helpful for just trying to get a little bit more information of where these BU players are.
More than the Alibi, I'm more interested in the Goyo pick because considering how they planted that second time, pardon me, in Aviator games, a Goyo would be incredibly useful in denying that kind of plan. And those boxes deny 15 seconds, area for 15 seconds. That's a lot of time, all things considered, and you can't really stick through that burn damage quite that easily.
Yeah, it is very potent. I am interested to see how Yumish handles pressure from Vault, because it really seems to be that's where they fall apart the most on this AV Games hold. Just losing
like
90.
Their counter to that is to bring double the utility now. They're bringing both Womai and Jaeger on the board, and I think they're gonna be just dumping completely on that 90 hallway.
We do see Cyclone here still on his drone. I'd really like to see him come off that drone and come up a little closer to the level of action so that when the BU players are able to clear an entire area, he doesn't have to run all the way from his original position.
Yeah, I agree with you on that front. It does seem like Twisty is contesting Dota and the drone here, so again, they seem to be using that a lot better this game.
But a very good idea from Twisty to just take a couple shots, make his presence known, and immediately push back to site so that it just slows these players down. The Yana clone coming out now, just peeking 90, looking for what player is here. Making that defense. Faded, able to take out that clone, but now they know he's there. Linus on this red stairs.
His point of view. Another drone coming out from Cyclone.
Faded as they try to push him out. Drone coming in. He's drone a second time, able to get the Yana, pushing back a little bit, but it looks like he goes to recontest against the Finka, able to get the Finka, and now we see Sledge coming up, and able to get the Sledge, a triple kill for Faded, as he holds down 90 and this fort, all up to Linus now, and Cyclone, who, as of recently, was still on his drone. Now Linus droning in Cyclone as he checks red stairs.
And that's the burst from the Vector by Goose. And here comes Linus up red stairs, taking out late and pushing up further now. He's gonna either contest Faded or Goose, and it's gonna be Faded who finds him first. Faded with a 4K.
It's an amazing play here from Faded in the 90. Just able to get all these players to push him one by one. I think Bradley really struggled there to do kind of a double commit. And his ability to find those heads as well was quite potent in stopping that push onto 90.
Yeah, it seems like Michigan finally have figured out how to quite counter that. And honestly, the Jaeger-Womai combo was probably what was needed considering the fact that Ying is on the board. Either that or the Warden, which we saw in the last round, but not quite used to the extent that it was needed to because he was caught with his pants down, as I mentioned earlier. But now we move back to Trophy Stat, and let's see if they can make a change here as well. The lineup does seem to be similar to what we saw to the previous round. We're going to see Faded on the Womai and Twisty on the Jaeger once more. We saw how potent that combo was the first time, didn't we, Sander?
Oh yeah, and this, but my
Seconds left before
he is able to play such an aggressive position
attackers are moving out to
with his
locate a
gun
bomb
skill
and
and
defuse it.
technical skill that it just seems to work out really well for him.
Yeah, the thing I'm concerned about is Bradley University's lack of hard breach, like 0 hard breach, and the fact that they just brought 9 flashbangs on the board. They're really trying to smoke out Michigan's holes here. Like 6 flashbangs, fine. When you bring 9, that's a bit concerning to say the least. Your frag economy is looking a bit low. But
Cyclone
we'll see
gonna
how
get
this
his drone killed right here, and no BU players again. Not able to contest on it. Although
bashing straight through AV, he's gonna find some hits from late. Let's take a look at him. Ooh,
Blade able
Blade's
to
gonna
get gotten
caught
through the
out.
door. Fated, they do know he's here, and they are able to also take him down, losing both those UMich players right away.
But
Really,
they've been able to take the lion out, which is a huge piece of intel for Bradley University. So honestly, not a decent, not amazing, but a decent trade out here. Taking out the lion when you have both lion and Doki on the scene is pretty good, all things considered.
A bomb has been located.
let's
Once
jump
they've hunted
on.
down that roam, it's now moving towards the site. Sorry, I cut you off.
Let's jump on here with Linus and Cyclone, who seem to be pushing both sides of these doorways into the north section with the bombs. Linus looking at maybe taking a rotate, clearing a spot so that if he needs to bail, he can. Let's move over.
Double kill from Cyclone, who finds Ormeek, and now it's looking like those flashbangs are really paying off as they toss all of them into that trophy site to get the angle onto Goose here, who's sitting at the A site bomb with a head glitch. Ooh, let's see. Not looking great for Michigan right now. Linus taking a few hits, but Piercing is rotating around to find an angle. That's gonna be Goose down on the bomb, and Twisty will find Linus though. As he rotates up Astro Stairs,
Piercing
coming
now.
around to the garage, he's not gonna find Piercing. Piercing takes him out. Sorry, what were we gonna say?
Oh, I was just as well going to call that fight on Piercing. It looked like Twisty was just not trying to get that rotate, but not aware that that Bradley University player was in the master and just ran up, caught with his pants down, and an easy fight to win from Piercing, who's shown really good gun skill throughout this match.
Yeah, Bradley proving the fact that they don't need a hard breach to make the
Defenders,
play on
protect
this
your
site,
bombs from being
as they
defused by
just go
attackers.
steamrolling in. It looks like Michigan swapping to the tertiary site on the first floor, kitchen and dining. Now this is where you'd usually bring out the pulse, but the pulse has not been brought up.
Attackers have
It
located
seems
the bomb.
like, from my understanding of the UMich players, none of them are super comfortable on pulse, especially with that UMP. You could see them bring the shotgun, but then, you know, it's much more difficult for them to come back and retake any sites or any positions that they may
Listen,
need.
our players are good, but they're not Canadian, you know what I'm saying?
5 seconds remaining.
Putting them on the pulse shotgun, let's not get
It's
too
it's
ahead of
definitely aggressive,
Defuse a bomb.
and with that lack of comfortability on that pulse and not using his operator special is to the best of his ability, it really seems that they're able to get a lot more useful information out of other characters and other
Yeah.
operators here.
It does seem interesting that Michigan has not read the play, that they don't seem to be bringing any hard breach operators in the first place. I don't honestly know if like swapping off the Kaid might be good in this scenario, especially when you've got a mute already. I think that might be a play here to maybe swap to a more useful operator, maybe something along the lines of Warden or Wamai again, but hey. We'll have to see on that. Bond here waiting for a call. Goose does find that first pick on Linus. Piercing gets the refrag onto Goose almost immediately through Memo. And yeah, we've got an initial engagements off the board. Linus a huge pick due to all that impact capability, but
Armiki are able to get a stop.
pressing. Sorry, you go ahead.
Armiki are able to get a stop, but pushing a very long hallway with a shotgun is quite aggressive. Immediately taking that
That's
chance.
exactly what I was about to say. But yeah, I mean, he manages to cross without an incident. Twisty taking this fight on Memo. Twisty finding one, cycling immediately, getting the refrag as he pushes in through the kitchen prep side.
Doesn't look like Bradley
Let's switch to
wants.
Armik, see what he's doing.
Looks like Armik's got a really good angle here, but I'm not sure if Bradley University really wants to push into kitchen here. Definitely seems like they're more focused on that southern bomb site on A.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna disregard Armik here and push through Memro and trying to push late hard. 5 flashbangs left on the board and 2 frags. Late might get caught out pretty easily here. Sipo goes out, that's not gonna find anyone. It's too far left, as they are still outside Memo.
Just looking from
Late
above.
misreading the play on the C4, as it seems like actually they seem to be rediverting back to Armik. There goes the gate. Will he be able to catch? Yep, not the KCSG, but that's one from Armik. And that's last man standing now. Piercing with 2 frags on hand. He still rushes through, but Late with the shotgun will close it out. See, they had 9 flashbangs once again. Piercing died there with both frags in his hand. To say that's a waste of utility is an understatement in the least. He had... What was the timer at there? Was it like a close timer?
They had about 30 seconds, I believe.
Yeah, if they had about 30 seconds, he should have used his frags.
And they had a lot of time. They took their time, they stopped. They even made some good decisions of backing up, sitting all up on the doorway and stacking up and being ready for making a plan. And then
Bradley was in a good position there, and they seemingly threw it out in the against, rushing or Meek by the looks of it. Because that Doki went full sprint with the SMG-11 in hand and tripped on a Capcam mine. That's one thing. And then the second one also got his head taken off, and then Sledge finally gets the pick, charging through because Armik wasn't expecting either that or he was reloading. But just overall, while that might have been a good call, I think the way they went about it was not the best. Still had 5 flashbangs on hand. 4, if you count the one that they used on the Ernie gate. They had enough and more flashbangs to push Armik out of position, and then a well-placed frag could have taken him out easily. Long story short, they threw that push.
Very much so. And, along with some of the other challenges I think they face, one of the ones that I have been seeing recently is that when they go for a push, when they have more than enough players to make a strong idea on a push, they just go in one at a time, single file. And it's almost like the UMich player is just able to take a one-on-one fight and a one-on-one fight instead of really pressing that 1v3 advantage that they have.
Yeah, we're gonna lose Fade early to a spawn peak. I did not quite see that. But Michigan now on the attack as they face a mountain of an effort to take Villa on attack. Now, Villa tends to be defender-sided from personal
Michigan
experience.
jumping in here, Linus gonna find him, but Lath immediately able to react to that player in position. And UMich now taking full control of this trophy side. Piercing rotating down, going back towards Solar, it looks like. But we'll see what he makes of it. Trying to take a look up into this open area, not finding anyone. And now UMich looking to push 490. Lath here taking some peeks. Not seeing a player, though they do expect someone, or Meek on the shock drone, trying to drone it out for him. And Lathe able to take 90 with no worries.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're trying to push
Piercing
them
now.
off too hard. Sorry.
Piercing now able, looking for any kind of player that he can find, able to take out 2 drones and just backing off, which is a good play for him as Yumish look to push forward.
40 seconds on the clock now. They seem to have 90 control, and Late will take down Piercing as he comes up. Quan takes out Twisty though, as we're back on an equal board. Goose will take a lot of damage, but not quite. Cyclone takes out Late, and Goose, if he steps in, will get zapped and he will die. He should not be pressing this angle. Quan and the rest are in a good position here. Shota finds the pick, and it's just up to Orbi, who is way out of position to make a play here. 10 seconds on the board, not much can be done. Bradley takes round 7. And match, no, not quite yet. 2-5 on the board. Okay, so looking back at round 6, it was 15 seconds by the time Sledge died there.
Okay, so they were close to time pressure.
Yeah, they did make that. The start of that push was at about 25 seconds, so I understand the urgency. However, they still had a bunch of wasted utility that they had on hand.
Mm-hmm. Well, and they took about 5 or 10 seconds to stack up. During that time, I really would like their players to kind of stack up and hash out a plan of, as we're setting up here, what do we want to get out of this push?
Correct.
Especially as they knew that Shotgun player was in there. And, you know, you may not know exactly where he is, but you've got so much util that you can throw and push around doorways and walls and bounce them off. You don't even have to take that face-to-face fight, especially with a Shotgun player who doesn't really want to take any long angles.
Yeah, coming back to what happened the last round, though, strong defense by Bradley and really good rotates from Piercing. However, I think ultimately that the problem was that Michigan got boxed in on the 90 hall, and that the entrance into Aviator, and as a result just kind of got stuck there is how it felt like. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. And a good rotate from Piercing, able to keep coming up from different points and slow down the Yumish team by just firing a couple shots, making his presence known, and then immediately backing off and not playing for his life was super detrimental to this Yumish team.
Yeah, coming back to now the current map, it looks like Michigan's gonna have some trouble smoking out these people in the Aviator games. I believe there's 2 players in the area. One's in the vault. We have the Aruni, but that's gonna be late with that first pick onto Linus. Will they be able to catch the Aruni?
Faded.
Yes, Faded does catch Piercing off, and that's the early roam game down for the count. They're gonna have to be pressing another bit, I think, on 90. Was there someone? No, but there was Cyclone that's engaging. And he's close to, the entrance. Ooh, what a bold spot this is. He should be getting the hell out of dodge. But and there he goes, getting the hell out of dodge, which is exactly the play to make there, as he was getting swamped and was about to be taken out by
Lathe here.
Faded. Yep,
Cyclone able to get a good rotate.
Oh, that is the Michigan team kill. The Michigan difference, everyone.
Smoke gets
Twisty
down.
taking out Quan, and now Cyclone is effectively the last man left. Unless Intel says otherwise to Michigan. But, ooh, nope, not quite. Goose will manage to find that last pick, even though Cyclone had the first shot onto him. Goose's reaction places that gun right on his head.
Strong plays from Goose, able to get at least a 2K there on one Yumish player and one BU player.
The Michigan difference. It's not a Michigan game without a team kill.
That is our one, though, and we were able to close out the round, so we should see some really strong plays here from Yumish as they keep trying to close back this gap and get closer and closer to
3-5 on the board. They have a lot they need to work to. Considering that the BU so far seems to have a strong showing on the Aviator, they need to take this round if they want any chance of surviving the next two. Because if they lose this one, they'll go to AV. The chances of working it out on AV, not so good.
5 seconds remaining.
most
From
definitely.
what we've seen at least.
We do see quite a few players going up here to the top floor to try and hold from above.
Which
Only-
is the play for the first floor. You want... Well, it's not how Michigan played it, but the usual playbook is you want to hold it from above to prevent vertical play. Michigan, I guess, read the fact that BU's attack was mostly horizontal, so they didn't need to hold above, but also, in general, this is the kind of play that you want to see here.
Call
Yeah,
out.
baited on the Doki once again. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Fade just making that call, trying to disturb any BU players who may be trying to hold from this direction. Lathe in a gunfight with a player on 90. And Faded able to make the kill.
Yep, binding Quan early on 90. They're gonna know his position. They're gonna try an EMP to miss the dart. And Twisty will actually find Linus as he was prone on that location. Yes, and looks like Michigan will have cams available from the defenders. No one else on the top floor, and it's now... Wait, no, one more on the top floor. As it's gonna be Piercing, who has the most picks on the BU side right now. So it's gonna be... Taking him out will need to be top priority. I almost said top priority. Love to see it. Anyways, pushing into Trophy with that intel, it seems like they're aware that he seems to have fallen off. I think Twisty fell, not Twisty, Piercing fell off. Is that? It does feel like it. From what we can see. But yeah, quick look at the scoreboards there. It looks like a pretty even slate for Michigan so far. But, yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. Looks like they're setting up for the vertical game. They seem to be taking their time here, trying to locate the BU players, opening up the hatches and the long angles, setting off the Goyos below. And has Late taken an engagement? No, Faded has taken an engagement. He's lost quite a bit of health, but Late will find that shot onto Shota. Gets refragged by... No, that's Faded that gets shot by Cyclone. And Cyclone's looking to make a rotate again, but Ormik's going for the plant onto the B side. Goose goes down in the process, and the diffuser is officially down. Cyclone watching for that top rotate, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Piercing and Cyclone now have to make their way. No, it does go to the top floor. The Claymore will take out Piercing, and it's now down to Cyclone, who is way offside, trying to make a rotate through the hatch. Yes, here comes the rotate to the hatch, but it's been watched, and here comes... Oh, not quite. Twisty just moved away at the last second, but Twisty with the return on the pistol finishes him off. Siege timing at its finest. Oh, that was... What was that?
I think that was
my God.
classic use of switching to your pistol is faster than reloading. And it was quite aggressive there, but able to work it out from Twisty. It was quite a close round there. I didn't think he was going to be able to get the drop off, but obviously he
Attackers need to locate and
was
defuse bombs.
able to at least make a landing, but trying to find those players in a new zone that you've just entered into is very difficult.
Yeah, back to Aviator games. Now, this is the one that Michigan have yet to conquer so far on Bradley's defense. So we'll have to see how this one pans out. What will Michigan do differently here? My guess is... hard to say. My usual take on this is you want to keep at least 2 people to press the study,
10
and then
seconds left before
like
insertion.
press the window on study and then press the study door, and then the rest of them push down master. But I understand that this setup also has
Locate and defuse the bomb.
dangers in that kind of push too. So hard to say. What do you think?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. It looks like Yumish is going for a master take, though. Again, doing what worked for Bradley and hoping that it'll work for them as well. It doesn't look like they're going to find much resistance, as Piercing here looking to just apply a little bit of
Linus is
pressure.
coming up on the maestro stairs. If they're not quite careful, they could be picked off. But it looks like we have the cross on the window. Linus might go for a big swing here. Let's take a look at Linus' point of view.
Oh,
no,
Linus immediately getting taken out by Faded.
Yep, that's the power of angles.
Already in the bathroom.
Yep, hopping out, and looks like they're also trying to reconvene for Piercing.
Bomb located by attackers.
Piercing seemingly rotating at the bottom too. They can get caught up. Oh, that is Cyclone going down. Sorry, taking out Faded right there with the suppress SMG-11, mind you. Ooh. Now, suppresses are the new meta, considering they dropped off. They removed the damage drop-off when it comes to suppressors. So you're gonna see a lot more suppressors in the game. However, moving back, it looks like we're going back to the 90 push. Cyclone pushing late, but not quite going well for him. Another refrag push onto him, and it looks like the Maestro cams have full information as to what's going on here, and I don't think they were able to take it quite out. They've opened the hatch, so they're unable to punch the glass on the Maestro cam.
Looking to try and get the feet of Lathe. He still doesn't recognize that they're shooting through that drone hole from Vault. It may actually be able to take him down here with such low health. Looking to try and see where he can rotate to, able to drop out and switch to another player. Here, as we jump on.
50 seconds on the clock. Michigan
Goose.
looking like in a decent position to make a play. However, they still need a bit of work here to get the people off. Yep, that is the Maestro down, and all utility from those Maestro cams are now gone. Late's gonna find Piercing, and that's that final kill from Twisty, right onto the head of Quan. Look at this beautiful pick right here. He swings and he hits.
And just
What a play.
and you saw him break out that pistol a second time. Just a favorite of Twisty, it seems, to immediately swap to that pistol, even when on low bullets, just to make sure that he doesn't have to fight for a refrag in a danger zone.
You never know. You never know. It's a reaction at that point. But Michigan now evening it out and
Attackers
finally
need to locate
retaking
and defuse bombs.
Aviator from Bradley, which puts them in a decent position. It looks like Michigan's momentum has been going now, and Bradley will have to work to try and put a stop to that. Their move is to go to trophy stat.
Now 5-5. It is a close game. If one team is able to win 2 rounds in a row, that will be the end of this map, and we will be sent to Clubhouse.
10 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. Attackers must
Yeah,
locate
looking,
and defuse
like I
bombs.
said, Michigan looks like in a better position than they were earlier. However, Bradley could easily turn this around. Looking at their draft, seems like they're not changing a lot what they're doing so far. I think most of what they'll change is when it comes to how they set up more than anything. After Michigan's droning to find those people on the roam. Impact comes out and actually gives the Michigan players a lot more view as to what's going on in in Aviator. Oh, and that's that first big Cyclone all the way from Master Window, taking out Late as he tries to punch out the window into Study. Not a great start for Michigan, but we'll see how it pans out.
Hello there.
Pushing in through to Aviator as Faded pops out another call. We'll have to watch out from the red stairs rotate as well as the trophy peak. He's placing himself so that he doesn't have to worry about the red stairs just yet. And this Aruni gate is an interesting placement to say the least in cutting off the Michigan approach.
Got one.
That dude there?
Yes, sorry.
Okay, let's check it.
Faded
Twisted
here.
does find that pick onto Linus as he pushes in and decides to leave a flag drone. Oh no! Does he hear that? Is this thing that piercing is close? No, he hears Quan close by. Quan does take Twisty out, and that's
Quan
goose on the immediate
immediately
feedback onto Quan. Sorry, and the Maestro utility is out of the count.
Piercing here looking to try and get a rotate behind. It does seem like that it might work for him, although UMish players do have a flank drone and able to stop that push. Another player goes down, and it's all down to Shota, who's able to put a couple shots downrange, but getting hit heavily. Trying to get a shot on Faded, but Faded able to just peek that corner with a little bit higher health and take that gunfight. A really good flick there.
Yeah, and we're looking at match point Michigan as Michigan takes the lead for the first time this game. Well, this map has definitely been a roller coaster to say the least. This is Bradley University's final shot at bringing it back to overtime. And then we'll just have to see, honestly. Lineup change here as they go back to trophy stat. Let's see how this pans out. The visual play might definitely work when it comes to the offside hole. What do you think?
Very much so. You do see, that the UMish, group is able to plant some really good anti-roaming drones, but if you've always got that vigil background going, it really can tie up a UMish player just watching at an angle. Because you can't ever trust that drone if it's getting always a vigil signal, like he could come up at any moment.
Yeah. Bradley doubling down on trophy stat and looking like they're setting Linus and Quan on the roam this time. Piercing looks like he's also gonna be off-site, but not quite. And let's see how this pans out.
Leif here immediately, again, going back for that 90. It looks like he'll be able to hold it uncontested. Quan making a shooting hole here. Looking
Gunshot
for...
would have given him away, though, as he tries to make this peak.
And it looks like he may fall back towards 90, where he heard that window open. Leif here now is stuck in between Quan and Linus. Linus looking to make a play here, right up close on that window. Gets a phone call though, and covered by drones. Looking to just try and get away, and he's able to make it away, although not completely. A little worse for wear. A face-to-face confrontation there with Faded does leave BU down a player. And now Leif will jump in.
Yep, Quan is down as they now make the 90 push. Watching the red stairs, but at the same time, just
located by attackers.
able to take a whole lot of space here. Yeah, they're gonna be wary of Linus's presence, and which is why they seem to be watching the red stairs like a hawk. However, I don't quite think Linus is gonna be coming up that way. I believe he's already rotated onto the site, if I'm... No. Oh, what a shot from Twisty! That angle was insane. He read that play like a book. Another one onto Shota as he swings into the site, looking for blood. Not quite. The only blood he's gonna have is his. Cyclone finds two, taking out Late and Twisty in the process.
Magnet ready.
Now, Cyclone and Piercing. Piercing, I believe, has made it back to site. Playing in Master, we have one player on each side, and Piercing able to find Faded. Just caught watching a different angle. They do know a player now is in Master. Looking to try and drone him out. They do have some vision on him as he's going to rotate around, but able to make another contest. Trying to swap sides as Cyclone comes around for the assist. Cyclone getting refragged. It is now a 1v1 Ormeek versus Piercing. Both these players know where each other is. Trying to find a good position to rotate.
15 seconds
Ormeek
left.
may not have knowledge. 13 seconds on the clock. Choosing to plant, and he's all the way across. Piercing doesn't hear it. He is not sure where this UofM player is. He is able to spot him, though. Looking to try and take this frag. 38 seconds in the diffuser. It's anybody's game here.
He has ample time to take the frag and to take it, but it all depends on whether he's able to get that shot off first. He knows where it is, but he doesn't know where Ormeek has rotated to now. He's gonna try and do a bait. He's gonna try and stick it.
He's gonna stick it.
He's gonna stick it. What was that?
A very aggressive play there from the BU player. And Ormeek just so close, able to watch that player stick it and come around the corner and win that frag, giving a 2-0 to University of Michigan. A very hard-fought map here, as it was 7-5.
What a game.
UMich coming back from a 5-1 deficit. Very strong plays from both teams here on Villa. And that
It was a 4-2 deficit, but yeah, still
a 4-2
coming back.
deficit.
Still coming back from a pretty bad place, honestly. But what a game it was.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us as we watch this game. We will be here, I believe, next week, Thursday, if you want to come back and see us. I hope you all have a great rest of your night and enjoy your Thursday. Good night, everybody.